I'm Rick, the owner of Riklean. As you are no doubt aware, the Government of Western Australia recently required all businesses to implement a COVID safety plan. In their hygiene guidelines under the heading Increased Cleaning and Sanitation Regime, they state, "It is important to ensure thorough and regular cleaning of common contact surfaces, high-touch items, and shared amenities such as handles, taps, lunchrooms, EFTPOS keypads, and toilets." They also state it is recommended that the frequency of cleaning in all areas be increased. As these guidelines are not very specific, many businesses are wondering A, how thorough is thorough, and B, how regular is regular. Also, only 5 examples of common contact surfaces, high-touch items, and shared amenities are provided. There are actually dozens that any business should be considering. We've put together this short video to give business owners and office managers some practical advice on how to better comply with the regulations, but more importantly, to help stop the spread of germs and keep their staff and customers safe. Firstly, it helps to keep 4 basic principles in mind. 1. In order for a surface sanitizer to be effective, the surface needs to be clean. Germs that are coated in a layer of dirt or grime cannot be reached by a surface sanitizer, so you need to clean the surface first and then sanitize. 2. If something comes from outside your office, it could be contaminated and should be cleaned and sanitized before entering your work areas. 3. If more than one person touches a particular surface, item or amenity, then it should be cleaned and sanitized more often. The more people touch it, the more frequently it should be attended to. 4. Germs can live on surfaces for anything from a few hours to a few days. With those basic principles in mind, we'll now show you some of the surfaces, items and amenities that should be sanitized in a typical office environment. Sanitising the door handle, which is something that everybody, staff, public, grab hold of when they come into an office building. So the latches, the door locking latch. We leave the surface damp, we don't dry it off. The longer that the solution is in contact with the surface, the more germs it kills. Air conditioning control. Okay, next surface that we focus on is the reception counter. Couriers, all customers, tenants, sales reps, everybody makes contact with the reception counter. Something you might forget, the bell. And with a light switch, obviously we're not going to spray directly onto the switch because of the electrical hazard. So we just dampen the cloth with the solution and just gently wipe over all facets, all surfaces of the light switch, plus an area of wall surrounding the light switch. And we've got all of the door handles to all of the room spaces and the door jamb. Quite often somebody will grab the actual door itself and miss the door handle completely. So all of the leading edges of the doors, the back of the door, where people often grab to close the door, all of that needs to be sanitised as well. Push plate on this side, because that of course is a hand contact point. So we need to ensure that that is completely sanitised. Here we have a chair. Now this chair being at reception is likely shared by more than 2 or 3 staff. So it's important to sanitise the arms of the chair, underneath the edges, wherever the hand clasps on the chair. So the arms, but also the back, because people tend to push the chair in against the table or the desk. So it's always important to give that back area of the chair a really good clean and sanitising, so it's a safe chair. Here we've got computer keyboard, once again highly likely shared. The phone handset, once again shared, and the mouse. Now, the computer mouse, very simple, just with the cleaning cloth dampened with the cleaning solution, antibacterial, antiviral cleaning solution, and wipe over the keyboard in a similar fashion. You don't want to spray directly onto keyboards or phones for obvious reasons, but the dampness of the cloth with the surface dampened and allowed to dry is more than adequate. The handset, pick it up, cloth moistened with the antibacterial, antiviral solution, and just wipe over every facet, every surface of the handset and the actual phone cradle and housing itself, and over the buttons. Once again, with a filing cabinet, it's a shared surface, so almost anybody in an office will be accessing a file cabinet drawer. So the top of the handle, underneath the handle, all of these surfaces once again need to be thoroughly sanitized. Photocopier, another machine, another piece of equipment in an office that gets a lot of use, gets a lot of people's hands on it. There are many surfaces to a photocopier that get handled and moved, and lifted up and touched. So we need to make sure, once again, that all of these contact points are sanitized and safe. In a typical office, we also have smaller stationery related appliances like DocuBind machines, which have handles, lots of contact points, staple removers, laminating machines, staplers, hole punches, and even guillotines. A handle which needs sanitizing. An item like this might be used a dozen or more times a day by as many people, so it still needs to be sanitized and made safe. Even the whiteboard marker. How many people use this whiteboard marker? We need to sanitize it as well. So here we are in a typical office kitchen. Now, again, eye contact. Everybody in this office uses the kitchen. Now, we've already cleaned these surfaces, we've bleached the sink, we've wiped down the bench tops and so forth, but now we need to sanitize. So all of the cupboard door handles, all of the cupboard door surfaces, again, both sides where people's hands make contact, lower fronts of the cupboards, door handles, the paper towel dispenser, the towel rail, the bench top itself, the front door and surfaces control panel of the dishwasher, the inside lip of the dishwasher, all needs to be sanitized. We also have the kettle, the handle of the kettle, the lid, the sides of the kettle, coffee machine, all of the external surfaces of the coffee machine, the sandwich press, the handle, all surfaces, particularly the handle, including the underside. We have the microwave control panel, the front of the microwave, top edge, the fridge door, the top lip and the inside edge of the fridge door, the underneath the recessed handle. This handle in the top of the door, each fridge door is designed differently, but as long as each facet and crevice of the handle and the door, the key focus being hand contact points, needs to be sanitised. We have our typical bathroom in an office. First point of contact is the door frame, the push plate. Once inside the bathroom, we also have to clean the back of the door, the latch, sanitise the latch. Here we have the paper towel dispenser. Again, it's been cleaned, but now we're sanitising the surface, making sure that it's COVID safe again. Hand basin, brightware, the taps, sink surfaces, the liquid hand soap, the actual basin itself, front edge of the basin. We start with the clean surfaces first, and then we work towards the toilet as the last item to be cleaned. Okay, here we have a swing top bin. So it's pretty obvious we need to sanitise that surface. Because when somebody puts rubbish in the bin, their hand and the soil towel is making contact with the bin lid. This toilet has already been cleaned, we're just sanitising the hand contact points. Anything where somebody's hand may have come in contact. When we sanitise a toilet, we don't use a cloth that's been on other surfaces. We actually utilise a bit of toilet paper. In addition to what we've already shown you, some businesses also have shared touch screen devices, FPOS machines, TV and air conditioning remotes, handrails for stairs, elevator call buttons and control buttons, intercoms and exit buzzers. These should all be frequently sanitised. So-called hot desks or shared workstations should ideally be sanitised after each use. In their cleaning checklist, Safe Work Australia requires that businesses instruct workers to clean personal property that has been brought to work and is likely to be handled at work or during breaks with a detergent or 2-in-1 detergent and disinfectant solution or wipes. Such personal property would include mobile phones, headphones and earpieces, iPads, car keys, remotes, access cards and sunglasses. A station can be set up near the entrance of your office space where staff can sanitise these items and their hands before entering general work areas. In their COVID-19 for Workplaces pack, Safe Work Australia repeatedly states that workplaces should be cleaned at least once daily, and also states that employers should consider disinfecting frequently touched surfaces at least once daily. We understand that these additional routines put quite a burden on small and medium-sized businesses. That said, they could go a long way in helping to prevent future lockdown scenarios and keep our businesses open. To help you out, I'd be happy to flick you a free copy of the customisable checklist we use when sanitising an office. Just click on the button at the end or somewhere around this video. Here's to better times ahead.